basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience.
The Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast is brought to you by Prize Picks and the Game Time.
Time for Bob Ryan, Gary Tanguay here on CLNS Media. Brought to you by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network. Pick more, pick less with Prize Picks. All right, Robert, here we go. I saw this interesting topic, and when it comes to the Celtics, we kind of have to dig for topics. Mm-hmm. But do you feel as confident with Payton Pritchard finishing a game as you do with Jrue Holiday?
I may almost have to recuse myself from this discussion, given my affinity, long-standing admiration and appreciation of Payton Pritchard, which goes back to Oregon. The answer is yes, and I think that Holiday, being Holiday, would not have his ego bruised. That if that were to be the case, I think he would recognize the team factor. Unless I've misjudged him totally, and I don't think I have, or anybody has. That's an interesting theory because Pritchard's shot-making ability, this year is been upgraded even more, and I wouldn't mind trying that if that were the situation.
Well, I think the way I look at it is it's a good problem to have, and I think it's for basketball junkies something fun to talk about. I mean, if I'm in the playoffs, for me, Holiday's my guy. Obviously, to me, I mean, we've seen what he's done. He could have been the MVP last year in the finals. I think he was an unsung hero. He gets open. He does things that you just don't see coming. He does the little things, and I think he's still the number one guy to me. However, if you're in a jam, if there's foul trouble, if he has a night off, if he's hurt, Pritchard certainly has made us feel a lot better.
No, they have a very legitimate good three-man backcourt now that they can really rely on. I think Pritchard has earned himself that status. Now the funny thing is, if we were talking about this tonight or tomorrow, or the guy who you would replace is not Holiday, it would be White, who's in the slump. Now, we assume he'll come out of that slump. That it would be shocking if he doesn't, but he is in a legitimate slump and shooting threes. But Pritchard, he's earned this discussion. He's earned this respect. The year that he's having, he is a legitimate. Although as Boston always gets very parochial. I don't care what sport we're talking about. We do get excessively parochial. Oh, he's the leading candidate for sixth man. Well, he's a candidate. Right. He's not the leading candidate necessarily. Right. He's a candidate, but he is, and that's fine. But that's an interesting premise. I mean, the guy has just been so reliable this year,
I think it's a testament to the coaching staff. It's a testament to Pritchard. Holiday's in foul trouble. Holiday gets hurt. You got 2 minutes to go in a playoff game. You got Tatum and you got Brown on the floor. Yeah, and Pritchard's in, and you're like, okay, no big deal.
Now you can put a lineup on the floor because of Brown's versatility. That he's really a combination big guard, small forward, with power forward body, and you could put a lineup out there that would include him as the other guard if you wanted to have Hauser out there along with say Tatum and Porzingis, or if you had Al out there along with Tatum and Porzingis, whatever. So you would have Brown. You still have two legitimate ball handlers, etc. No, it's an interesting premise, but it's a tribute that we were even having this discussion to the year that Payton Pritchard is having. And he's like I said, this doesn't have a relevance to all our viewers or listeners. He's a combination to me of Larry Siegfried and pick your choice, Eddie House, because of the 3-point capability. But I'm telling you, I can't think of a comparable Celtic guard at that size since Larry Siegfried last played a game in the 1969-70 season for the Celtics that fits that defensive aggressiveness, the feistiness, and he is a tough little guy, and they didn't want to pick on him, but he doesn't give up baskets easily. And I love his rebounding, and his sneaky offensive rebounding is a major asset in his team. And we haven't had anybody that I can think of. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody, so I'd be happy to get any candidates since Larry 54 years ago that is that type of start at that size. We've had Tiny Archibald was that size. He was a different kind of player.
Player, right?
By the way, Tiny was taller than people think. Tiny somehow projected small, and he had the nickname Tiny. But I'm 6'1", almost 6'1.5", and Tiny, I looked him right in the eye. So this is a total aside. Tiny was taller than people think. I think it was 5'11". He wasn't. It was 6'1". Whatever difference that makes. All right. Well, we digress. I love talking about Payton Pritchard.
I know you do.
I'm enamored with Payton Pritchard.
So now let's get to the East, because the Eastern Conference, things are getting kind of interesting, and we'll start with the Hawks. And you think they may be a team to keep an eye on?
I think you want to keep an eye on the Hawks, and they're as we speak, they've won 6 out of 7. They've beaten the New Orleans, Milwaukee, Cleveland twice, and Denver and New York. They're playing well. Trae Young is leading the league in assists. His shooting apparently is a little down, but he's leading the league in assists. He's a very interesting player. Talk about small guards. He made a stir last night in Madison Square Garden when after they beat the Knicks in the Cup game. He went to midcourt and feigned shooting dice because they're going to Las Vegas, and some people were very upset about that, and they were questioning why the Knicks didn't go over and knock him on his ass. And I say, in a building where there's a Hollywood director in the front row been showing off for 30 years, he has a right to show off as an athlete. You know who I'm talking about. So, but he's a player. He's a serious player. Trae Young, when he's on, he's in it.
Well,
Jalen Johnson is the big thing that Jalen Johnson is averaging 19.8 points and 10-point rebounds a game without fanfare. The Hawks have been kind of off the radar screen, but they should be back on the radar screen in the East. They're going to be, they could be the category when we get to April and March, if they continue to play this way, of the proverbial tough out. Okay,
a problem.
That's fine, and they could be the proverbial tough out. Well, that's good. Because they threatened that, they had a good team. The Celtics wound up playing against them in a playoff series. It was really notable not too long ago. And then last year they fell back, but they've come back. DeAndre Hunter, who I loved at Virginia, has led them off the bench now in 5 times during their winning streak. That's very impressive. So when we talk about 6-man, I'm sorry, folks. He may be the leading candidate, not our guy. But DeAndre Hunter, 6'7" forward from Virginia, which means he had to learn to play defense, so he never would have gotten off the bench for Tony Bennett. And he's a nice player, and he's coming off the bench. So they've got some assets. And Quinn Snyder can coach. He can coach. Now, my question about Quinn Snyder is, why is he wearing those silly red glasses? And I don't know whether he was a devotee of Sally Jesse Raphael many years ago.
Sally Jesse Raphael?
Yeah, she had the red glasses, which I found out she got because she needed glasses at one point. She went across the street to get the readers, and they only had was red or something. She got the red, and that suddenly became her trademark. I don't know why Quinn Snyder wants those dumb red glasses as a trademark.
You know why, Bob? I'll tell you why. Because everybody in the NBA has a stylist. I'm not kidding. Remember when Paul Pierce was wearing glasses without lenses? Dwayne Wade was wearing glasses, no lenses.
Okay.
Lenses. And they didn't hide the fact. They were like, yeah, there are no lenses in there. I just think they look cool.
By the way, the flip side of that was during the Barcelona Olympics. The word, I saw this with my own eyes, that Scottie Pippen was wearing glasses with clear frames.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to look studious.
Oh, I've known people that have done that.
He wanted to look studious.
Dude, Bob, television anchors, the clear, not prescription.
Yeah.
Tonight. Let me tell you what's happening. I mean, it's a bunch of bullshit. Whatever.
Great secrets, folks.
You can read about it. Believe me, you put these on, you'll get dizzy.
Listen, people, we have Gary around. We get some trade secrets on that TV
On the
biz.
TV thing. Oh, yeah.
And not to mention the movie biz. We got some trade secrets
And
for you.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up 200 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states, California, Texas, Georgia, Florida. You can win up to 200 times your money with Prize Picks because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Pickmas. Pickmas, folks. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday each Tuesday. And Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So think Steph Curry will get more than 5 3-pointers next week, or Giannis more than 35? Cook up your hot takes with your friends. Win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. This week's Prize Picks, you're looking Tatum over 29 points, Anthony Edwards over 25 points, Anthony Davis more than 12 boards. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Anyway, back to Hawks. Yeah,
go ahead.
14-8. They're going to be, respectable. And I love a category of team that you're happy to root for. Their fans should be happy to root for them.
Right.
Much like the Rockets, their fans should be happy to root for them. And by the way, the East, when I last checked in on this matter, there were 10 Western Conference teams over 500 and only 4 Eastern. We're up to 7 in the East, and the East is not the pushover that people think it is. It's not going to be if it continues like this. But definitely, Atlanta is a team that has earned some respect, and good for them.
What's going on with Orlando?
Well, I feel bad for them. First, they looked like they were going to be the next one up after Boston and Cleveland. They had a shot to be the next one up in the East over Milwaukee, we know Philadelphia, a whole other story. Well, we don't need to talk about them tonight. But and Banchero, who is a wonderful young player and who is going to be a big key to our next Olympic team, by the way, when that rolls around. He got hurt and he's out. But they were winning anyway. And one reason they were winning anyway was the Wagner brothers, led by Franz, who is a terrific player, averaging over 20 points a game this year. One of the 40 people averaging 20, by the way, but that's another story. And he got hurt. Now he got an oblique injury, and that's a mysterious injury that I looked up. It's very nebulous. It's very mysterious. There's different categories, but anyway, he's out indefinitely. Now they were winning without Banchero. I don't see how they can continue to win without Wagner as well. So that's too bad for them because they were showing some signs of life, and we'll see if they can hang on now. But I don't see how they can without Franz Wagner.
Bob, I wanted to mention this before, but when you mentioned Trae Young rolling the dice at center court because he was going to Vegas, I think that's the only time you had a league commissioner happy that a player was insinuating or representing gambling. Because as we all know, Vegas, baby, Vegas, the NBA loves this stuff. Now, you and I really haven't followed it. We're not into it. Our colleague Jeff Goodman isn't either. But with an objective eye, can you see that this is helping the league at all, or do you have any idea?
I don't know. I hear ratings, are not good in general compared to they're down. I don't know that this is so. That doesn't appear to me that it's been a great stimulus for ratings. I just can't see people getting excited about it.
Well, it was. I think it worked last year because LeBron was in it.
Okay, well, all right.
I mean, the Lakers.
Right, yeah, all right. You're right.
Here's the thing: is I'm, have been teaching at the higher learning institution of Emerson, and it's still about names, man. It's still about names.
Really? Yeah.
With sports and with the way kids follow and on the phone and all that, it's still about names and personality.
Okay.
It really is. So that's
I can't get excited about it, and I just have to laugh. The Lakers won it last year. and and who cares? And
but I mean, LeBron is still a guy. Like if LeBron's in it, or Steph's in it. I don't know who those next guys are. Maybe it's Houston, maybe it's San Antonio, but they're not there yet. I don't know if Tatum and Brown are. They're just Tatum and Brown are just so workmanlike and just.
No, they're not. They don't move the needle. I don't think that way at all.
But they don't want to.
I'll tell you who moves the needle. It's John Morant.
Right.
John Morant moves the needle. I think
he moves the needle.
Any young player does out there. And then I think there's guys that move it for me, but they don't, like Domantas Sabonis. But no, but John Morant. By the way, that shot he made against the Celtics, that reverse dunk on.
Oh yeah.
For a guy 6'1". I mean, it was, to me, the shot of the year. So the dunk of the year if you're going to do it. But anyway, he may move the needle a bit. Yeah, you're right. It's a very good point. And I see. I've never been like that. To me, it's the team. But for people, if it's an individual, and the NBA, no question, David Stern sold the NBA by marketing Magic and Larry. And setting the table for Michael. Those three names in the 80s and early 90s, obviously, were the turning point for everything in the NBA in that regard. They were able to market them. So I don't know if there's anybody, LeBron, who's now 40 years old. We're going to be talking about him all year. It's very interesting. He's on a career low, currently, points per game, and he's still averaging 20. And he's 40, and he's going to be 40 in 18 days as we speak. He'll be 40 years old, and that's are you aware, by the way, of this raging X debate about who's better historically, LeBron or Kobe? Not Michael, Kobe, and it's about LeBron. It's not about they concede Michael, but that. Kobe versus, I have never thought about Kobe versus LeBron. Have you?
I have not.
But this out there.
And God bless him, but I have never really looked at him in that way. I mean, it was always LeBron and Michael. I never really had Kobe in that.
Still LeBron and Michael for me. And Kobe, and when I rate the top, I got him at number 9 or 10, fighting with Duncan. Just in general, you got the three centers. Obviously, Wilt, Russell, and Kareem in some whatever order you choose. You got Magic and Michael. LeBron and Michael, and then Magic and Larry, and then after that, that's where I draw the line. And I put Kobe along with Tim Duncan at the head of the next level.
Yeah,
that's me. It's my opinion.
Kobe's got 2 titles of 4. 4, right?
I lost track. I think he's got
2 with Shaq and 2 by himself. No, wait a minute. One. I think he's got 3 because he went 1-1 against the Celtics, and then I think he had 2 with Shaq. So he's at least got 3. LeBron's got 4. But I never looked at Kobe as I didn't think he was as good as LeBron.
I've always looked at him as Magic Light, Michael Light. He's the closest thing to Michael, and that's a high compliment. Closest thing to Michael in temperament and skill set. Same size. Defensively, Michael was terrific, and Kobe was terrific. I think Michael was a better passer. They're both great passers, but not on the level of Magic or Mike or Larry, but good passers and clutch shooters. But I just think, to me, this is more not necessarily pro Kobe. This debate, it's anti LeBron. There are a lot of people that are just determined not to give LeBron his due. And the people out there, they say he's selfish. They'll never forgive him for switching franchises. Kobe played for one team, and Michael played for one. No, he didn't. He played for 2. But Magic played for one team. Larry played for one team. But LeBron has bounced and sought championships, and they're holding that against him, and this and that. I resist on that. I'm a LeBron. I think he's a wonderful, fascinating, wonderful player, and what he's doing at his age is absolutely remarkable. Anyway, it's fair. It's a fair discussion. It's a barroom discussion, and it's a new one. I've never thought about comparing Kobe to LeBron.
Webb says he has 5, but then they list 2000, 2001, 2002, 2009. But anyways.
Well, they beat the Celtics in 9 and 10. They beat the They won it. They beat the Celtics in 10. 9. The Celtics got beat by Orlando because
Right.
Garnett was hurt.
Right, and then so 5 NBA. So he has 5. And
All
then,
right, fine. We can. Is this that counting the championships? That's only one criteria. It's not the whole story. It depends on who's hurt, who's out. He shouldn't have been MVP in 2010. I swear to God, I'm never going to give up on that. Pau Gasol should have been the MVP in 2010. But it's on his record. Fine. And that's anyway. It's a discussion that a week ago I didn't know existed, but believe me, it's out there.
yeah, LeBron's never going to get his due. I've always felt that, you can. I'm never going to argue with somebody who picks Russell over Michael. I'm like, fine, Russell, you want to, I'm okay with it. But like anybody else, like to me, it's still Michael. It's still Michael over LeBron. And then LeBron comes in second.
Michael Jordan, there were so many things about it. His first game that Larry played against him, Larry came out and said it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And he specified that it's different than, Larry looked up to Magic and compared himself, and I thought they were mirror images in many ways. But this was something different. And that night, he had like 29. It wasn't like a rocket ship game. It was a workman-like, but Larry being Larry and being the professional that he was, he saw things that, whoa, I haven't seen this before, and he told us right away, this guy's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And that was after one just routine Michael performance, not even what would turn out to be his greatest thing. So I've always respected that, and because, I'm prejudiced toward Larry. So no, I'm sticking. And we've had this discussion. I've had it 100 times. I'll have it 1,000 times willingly. Here's the difference between LeBron and Michael for me, and how they got each ascended to the top of their respective mountain places in different eras. Okay. Michael got there when he was willing to share and trust his teammates. And I always say that the 1987 or 88 Michael would not have thrown those passes to John Paxson and Steve Kerr that won championships. But he was willing to do that at that point in the early 90s and then finally got himself a ring. LeBron, conversely, needed to accept the responsibility of being the best player on the floor and acting accordingly. He was deferential in 2000 to the point where against the Celtics, where I really believe, I hate to say, did he quit? And in 2001, he was deferential against the Mavericks, and it cost him that series. Something happened. We'll never know. Will he ever tell us? Will he give us the tell-all autobiography, that I figured out what I had to do, or somebody got to me. I don't know who. Maybe Phil sat him down in the room, and sat him down and said, look, you got to take over. But from that point on, he understood when to turn it on, when to turn it off, the word I use is calibrate, how to calibrate his great raw talent with his teammates, something that is absolutely necessary for any great player, and to get to the mountaintop. And he finally figured it out. Once he did, multiple championships followed. So, we'll never forget that Andre Iguodala was the MVP of a finals.
I know.
How about that?
I know.
And that, so, that couldn't happen before. Anyway, that's the difference in that sense between those two. And that's always been my, and they say, who's better? Well, LeBron is bigger, stronger, faster, better passer, better rebounder, not as tenacious a defender all the time, but he got to be a pretty good one. But if I'm playing for my life tonight, there is no question. I want Michael Jordan. He's the guy you want in the foxhole. No question. Not LeBron. It's not in LeBron's nature. Michael is a cutthroat, ruthless competitor. LeBron was never cutthroat and ruthless. He was team oriented from day one back in St. Vincent, St. Mary, and just didn't have that personality that Michael had. And Kobe has a lot of that. He's the closest thing to Michael we've seen.
It's game time. You're looking for tickets to your favorite college football team or NFL team. Game Time is the place to go. All right. And when you go to the Game Time app, you can just pick whatever part of the country you're living in, or maybe where you're visiting. You just punch in the zip code and you're off and running, folks. They've got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff. So they show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Like, hey, if you're in Chicago, go to Chicago. Find out what's going on with the Bulls. What's happening? What's going on? Maybe LA with the Lakers, or maybe Tuscaloosa for college football. Check it out. It's as simple as that. They've got super deals, and seat views before you buy them. So you just go on, you pick the seats, and you see the view, so you know what you're going to get. Guaranteed deals make it easy to find the best prices on great seats, the lowest price guarantee, and event cancellation protection. So check it out. Game Time, the best ticket coverage in the business. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. You know, I was looking up James's numbers right now. You said averaging 20. He's going to be 40, and he's averaging 23 points a game, 9.1 assists, and 8 rebounds.
Yeah,
he's almost averaging.
I mean, it's and you can't dismiss that. I'm sorry, and it's not as if. And I've seen Exus, you know, he's a stat compiler. He is not. No, he is. I've seen stat compilers. And I'm telling you right now, LeBron James is not a stat compiler. He's a basketball player who plays every night to win.
Right.
And that's what he's always done, going back to St. Vincent St. Mary, and when he was accepting who he is and how great he is. He had that period of time where it took him a while to come to that realization in Cleveland, but once he did, they started to win.
Who's the biggest stat compiler you have ever seen? Who's a stat guy? Do you have...
Elvin Hayes was a stat guy. Not my favorite player. He was up there. He was up there as a stat compiler. I always kid that they would never have won the championship that they did win with the Bullets in 1978 if Elvin hadn't fouled out.
I love it.
And Mitch Kupchak got made the big play of the game, coming off the bench. Big loose ball, Mitch Kupchak got. Elvin wasn't getting that ball. I have to confess, I've always had a thing, but Elvin is one. I have to think. I'm sure I'll come up with a better answer at 3 in the morning.
James Harden.
Who? Oh, James. I'm so ambivalent about James Harden, and when you realize the statistical accomplishments that he has and how good he's playing at his age too. You know, he's going to be a Hall of Fame. There's no doubt. Nobody's going to. I would never deny him that if I were on the committee. But I don't like him. And he doesn't have enough accomplishments, I don't think, for me to rank him in the top, where he ranks. I never even consider him when I'm ranking my top 20. I don't. Not even a consideration.
No, he's
got stats up the yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always care about, how he gets all these assists. He must bribe every scorekeeper in America because I can't remember any of them.
Bob Ryan, the phantom assists.
Now we got to talk about a guy who's forever in these kind of discussions. This, in the history of the National Basketball Association since 1946, this guy may occupy a singular niche. An unquestioned talented player and a big game player and a big-hearted player and who keeps bouncing around. And he's up for grabs again. Jimmy Butler.
Right.
And now people are looking at Jimmy Butler. And Miami apparently has put the feelers out. Okay. And I mean, when does this story ever end? And now they're saying, whoa, if Phoenix gets him, maybe they'll bounce back into contention, and maybe they would. But he's a phenomenon, Jimmy Butler, in this regard. I don't know if there's ever been a player quite in that category the way he is. Now, Harden's bounced around too. But there's something about Jimmy Butler. You want him, but you want him and you want him, you're willing to give him up. And he's 34 now. So whoever gets him, it's going to be for the immediate future.
Well, I always said Jimmy Butler was Dennis Johnson on steroids.
Oh, well, DJ was a tough guy. DJ was a tough guy, and God, did he change his opinion on him when he was traded? Sure. Oh my God, we were anyway. That's it. Let's table that discussion. We won't table that one. But yeah, it's a good point. But Jimmy Butler is up for grabs. Apparently, this is the word right now. Keep your eye on that, where he might go. And apparently, I don't know. Now, I haven't done my research. I don't know what Phoenix would have to give frankly, in terms of draft picks or anything else. I don't know. They'd have to give up. You'd like to think that Miami, and I did see a thing, we're not giving him away.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I wouldn't either. But he's an interesting player, and he was not a highly touted. He was just a guy you would draft in the first round, but he was never touted for superstardom coming out of Marquette. I saw him in a tournament.
I mean, Chicago, right? I mean, to me, he really turned it on in Miami.
Yeah, he did. Exactly. He knocked the Celtics out, basically. Yeah. Remember, we had these discussions, Gary, with Jeff. If only Tatum particularly had the spunk of Jimmy Butler. I can't say that about Brown, but Tatum, with his superior talent, he didn't have that temperament and that personality that Butler had, and he still doesn't, but he's figured it out his own way. But
well, I'll tell you though, I'm looking if I'm as a fan, I'm looking at the standings and where would I want to see Jimmy Butler go? As a Celtics fan, I don't want him to go to Cleveland. And again, I don't know if the cap's going to work or how this all could work. But I would love to see him go to the Rockets.
It's got to be a would-be contender. Yeah, now that's a young team. Right. One more. Oh, that would be very interesting. The Rockets or even the Hawks. But the Rockets, yes. The Rockets are a growth stock as well.
I mean, my God, 17-8. You put Butler on that team. He's 34. You go, look, we'll take care of you during the regular season. We'll have you here for the playoffs.
Now, how many games are going to get out of? Yeah, you want to make sure you baby him and get him ready for the playoffs. He misses a lot of games, and that's the other thing. But the Rockets would be interesting because the Rockets are got some nice young talent, and they're they could be a not just like, I don't know if they'd be the tough out, but they would certainly be a team of interest that you wouldn't be shocked if they pulled an upset in the playoffs.
All right, Bob. Bob, I think we've done yeoman's work. Anything else on your mind tonight?
No. I just let's see how the Celtics progress here, and how long it takes Derek White to come out of a slump, but there's no need for panic. Long season, strange schedule with them, because of this cup thing, where they were playing 5 games in 7 nights, and now they're playing 2 and however many. But they needed this break. All right, we have nothing to complain.
All right, Robert.
Nothing to complain about.
I know. Nothing to bitch about. Brought to you by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network. Pick more, pick less with Prize Picks.